western side of the eye wall where, Panama City and Panama City Beach were. We've seen plenty of damage there as well. So let's take a look at what is going to happen next. And we're going to continue to have this extreme wind warning in effect. Let's go take a look up in that area. This is in southwestern Georgia. This extreme wind warning remains in effect until 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. You need to be sheltering like you would for a tornado in this area because of the dangerous, damaging, and perhaps deadly winds if you don't take this seriously and take shelter like you would for a tornado. Stay inside. Lowest level, most interior room, and this is in effect until 6:30 p.m. Eastern time for frequent gusts above 100 miles an hour, and we've seen that already happening. There's also a flash flood warning in effect in the central Florida Panhandle area till 8:45 p.m. Central time, and now you see in that same area in the northern and northeastern eye wall, we've got this new flash flood warning, early Houston and Seminole counties, including the Bainbridge, Georgia area, the Dothan, Alabama area till 8:45 p.m. Eastern time, and you can see how much rain and wind is spreading inland over southeastern Alabama and southwestern Georgia, and it's only going to get worse from here as the system remains a hurricane for a while overnight, and then a tropical storm going through eastern Georgia and through the Carolinas. And because of that path, there's still hurricane warnings up for southwestern Georgia, tropical storm warnings up for much of the Carolinas, and chances of tropical storm force winds very, very high over a large area, and even hurricane force winds. And Mike, we're going to get a lot of power being taken out, and in the Florida Panhandle, a lot of people without power. Almost 300,000 people overall in the state of Florida without power right now.
Yeah, and the number is probably just going to keep climbing, unfortunately. And we just spoke with the sheriff here in Franklin County in Apalachicola, saying extensive tree damage across this area, and power's going to be out for some time until they can get in here and get some crews in here to work on it. But just commenting on how many trees have been down. Other thing, here in Apalachicola, we've got a dusk to dawn curfew. So as soon as it's dark, you've got to be in your house and not allowed back out until sunrise tomorrow morning, okay? So just keep that in mind. And by the way, asked him about St. George Island, which is the barrier island off of Apalachicola here. The weather's been too rough for them to get anybody out there to do an assessment, so we have no update yet on what's happened on St. George Island. But needless to say, I'm sure they took a very hard hit. Here in Apalachicola, Water Street is behind us here. We still have water on it. The storm surge has yet to recede here. Now, this is a low-lying road, so it may take a little bit of time for this water to get out of here. But you can see the building behind us here. A little bit of the metal roof has been peeled back here, and several of the businesses along there have as well. But a ton of water here, and the issue is this. Car yesterday got a flat tire. They just left it there, and guess what? Now, it's underwater. More coverage. Hurricane Michael coming back after this.
At the dinner table, nobody talks about football. I like to teach them there's more important things in life. My name is Ted Ginn. I eat Stouffer's lasagna, and I hunger to coach athletes into men. Stouffer's, what are you hungry for?
To err is human. To anticipate is Lexus. Experience the Lexus RX with advanced safety. Standard. Experience amazing.
Ladies, have you noticed your earrings aren't sitting upright where they should? Introducing Magic Bags, the beauty breakthrough designed to instantly lift and support your earrings. Just replace any earring back with Magic Bags. The easy lift heart-shaped design supports your earring against your earlobe. Slide onto any earring post. They'll instantly sit more upright. Make all your earrings look better with Magic Bags for as low as $19.99. Available online and at these fine retailers.
If a dirty CPAP is making you sick, you're not alone.
I was getting sinus infections because I wasn't cleaning my CPAP properly, and that continued until I got my SoClean.
SoClean is the world's first automated hands-free CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. It kills 99.9% of all CPAP germs and bacteria that can build up in your mask, hose, and reservoir.
I don't have to push a button or anything. I just put the mask in the chamber, close the lid, and it runs automatically. SoClean is has been a lifesaver.
SoClean works on all popular CPAP machines and masks. Try it risk-free for 30 days. Even shipping is free. Call 1-800-426-0836 to take advantage of this limited time offer.
If you get a CPAP machine, don't even take it home until you have your SoClean machine right with it, because they are a marriage made in heaven.
Try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. Even shipping is free. Call 1-800-426-0836 or go to trysoclean.com.
Fact is, every insurance company hopes you drive safely, but Allstate helps you with DriveWise. Feedback that helps you drive safer, and that could lower your cost. Now that you know the truth, are you in good hands?
Hi, I just wanted to tell you that Chevy won a J.D. Power Dependability Award for its midsize car, the Chevy Malibu. I forgot, Chevy also won a J.D. Power Dependability Award for its light-duty truck, the Chevy Silverado. Oh, and since the Chevy Equinox and Traverse also won, Chevy is the only brand to earn the J.D. Power Dependability Award across cars, trucks, and SUVs 3 years in a row. Third time's a charm.
Today we're opening more than 150,000 locations called Domino's Hotspots. You can finally get Domino's delivered to every single one of them. Get 2 medium, 2-topping pizzas delivered for $5.99 each.
Domino's Hotspots. Delivery to parks, beaches, and other outdoor locations near you.
A Category 4 making landfall.
These winds are just crushing right now. Buildings are now being overtaken by water.
We're going downhill quick.
Really amazing that we've gotten something this strong.
Hurricane Michael, one of the strongest hurricanes to hit the United States in a very long time, hits today with 155-mile-per-hour winds and a pressure of 919 millibars, and it has, in some instances, reshaped the coastline of Florida. We've got team coverage for you tonight right here on the Weather Channel. I'm meteorologist Mike Bettis in Apalachicola, where it's a mass of water, all right? Places that normally would be dry are now underwater, including here on Water Street and going several blocks inland today because of the surge. And now the land and the river and the bay are all one at this point. The good news out of all this is that the water is receding. After record surge, the water is receding. The rain has ended. We haven't had rain in at least an hour now. And so any of the heavy rain that we saw when we saw the more inland flooding is ended at this point. It may take a little bit of time for this water to exit, though, so you've got to be patient, folks. There's a curfew in effect here in Franklin County. There's extensive tree damage across this area. What that means is power has gone out. It could be some time before power is restored as well. I spoke with the sheriff, and he says that US 98, by the way, this is US 98 behind us here, this bridge, okay? So you go over this to the causeway here where it gets lower, and it's just barely above the water. Okay, there have been portions of that have gone underwater, and parts of it that have been compromised as well. So US 98, parts of that highway are not travelable right now. So if you're trying to get in or out, keep that in mind. We're specifically talking about going eastbound out of here, where we've got some issues as you get over toward the causeway here. All right, as far as where we go from here, weather is going to improve every single step of the way after we had a Category 4 make landfall a few hours ago. Winds have backed off significantly after gusting to 89 miles an hour here in Apalachicola, although conceivably they could have been higher than that. It looks like the automated anemometer at the airport has failed now, so it hasn't reported in quite some time, which is actually the case with a lot of the anemometers in this area that were hit by the hurricane. They got a certain wind gust, and then next thing you know, they were knocked offline, either meaning that the weather station itself was damaged, or it's just been knocked offline because they lost power, the ability to transmit data. One thing I want to warn you, folks, be careful when you're walking in any floodwaters, because if you look where I'm standing, oh, this is so mucky and murky. I've got rubber boots on here, but you don't know what's in some of that flood water. I see all kinds of oil filters, and so there's oil sheen in here. This is all muddy. There I've seen, birds in there as well. I mean, there's just a lot of different things in there that can cause you some problems. You don't want to get sick. You don't want to have survived the hurricane and then walked in floodwater and then ended up getting sick, okay? So just keep that in mind as you get out and about after the storm has passed. Jen Carfagno also tracking Hurricane Michael in Tallahassee tonight, where likely, Jen, the biggest impact will be potentially, we think, some rain, but most likely it's going to be the wind that everyone's going to talk about because a lot of people will lose power.
Yeah, I mean, Mike, all the heavy rain has stayed off to our west and off to our north, and so I don't think rain is going to be an issue here in flooding, although we've had some decent rainfall, a couple of inches, but the wind is still gusting. In fact, I just saw at the airport we're gusting to about 60 miles per hour, and so with that, you're still going to get trees to come down. You're still going to have additional power outages, or at the very least, crews will not be able to go out in their bucket trucks and restore power. You should know that we have about, 20 different utilities that have come into this area to help restore power here in Tallahassee, including some from out of state, like from Louisiana and from Oklahoma. So they're ready. It's just that the weather has to calm down before they can get out there and start getting power back on. I want to show you something out here. I've been watching a lot of just small tree limbs in my area right here come down today. But all day I've been watching this road close sign, which is right out here. And I was wondering earlier if it was going to catch in the wind, but it actually is bolted. I know you probably can't see, but there's bolts in here that are screws. It was screwed into the pavement and the crosswalk across the area, but that finally gave way after a full day pretty much here. Since noon or so, we've had winds gusting over 40, 50, 60 miles per hour, and so it was just too much for that to take. And that's, I think, the story here as well. We had a peak wind of 71 miles per hour. That happened a couple hours ago. But it's not always the peak wind. It's the duration of these winds that were gusting in the 50s and 60s, and it's been ongoing all day. And that's really, I think, what just took the most toll on the beautiful tree canopy that we have here in Tallahassee and why we're seeing so many power outages. Last check was up over 56,000. That's about 48% of the customers in this area. I know overall there's many more people without power because of Hurricane Michael. In fact, we're going upwards of 250,000 people without power in Florida and now into Alabama and now into Georgia as well. So we are continuing to watch here in Tallahassee. The wind will be up for the next couple of hours. It still will not be safe to go out. Wait for this to settle down. Overnight, you're going to see a marked improvement in the weather. Tomorrow will be a completely different day. But until then, know that we're going to have these very strong winds gusting in the 40s, 50s, and even 60s like we're seeing right now. And that will create the additional concern for trees and tree debris coming down and blowing around in the wind. And it's just not worth going out. Wait till it's over. Wait till the whole thing is over. Now, I wanted to go through actually some of the strongest winds in the area because at Tyndall Air Force Base, near where we saw the landfall was near Mexico Beach, we saw a wind of 129 miles per hour. That was with a very strong Cat 4 making landfall. That was measured there. But then all the way inland to Marianna, Florida, we had a wind gusting to 102 miles per hour. So that's just along I-10. So think about the strength this thing held as it barreled in through the Florida Panhandle, creating winds like that all the way up to Marianna. And now we're getting some strong winds. I just saw around the Donaldsonville airport. Those winds are gusting up into the 60s right now as well. 68 miles per hour, I believe, was the last check of what I saw there. That's going to create some significant damage as well. And that was one of the areas under that extreme wind warning in the inland areas. So as we see Michael continue to pull away, we're still going to be in the wind and we're still going to get some rain here in Tallahassee. The core of the winds is going to be north of us. The core of the rain is going to be north of us here. So know that if you're in Tallahassee, we've certainly escaped the worst from Michael, but we've not escaped impacts. And the power outages around the area and any trees that have come down on your homes or on your cars certainly will be something that you need to clean up from. And we'll be assessing that as well with you as it's safe to do so in the next day. All right, let's go back into the studio with Dr. McNabb and talk more about these inland impacts, heavy rain, as well as the wind threat and how fast it's moving. Do you anticipate Michael to accelerate even more, Dr. Knabb?
It will be speeding up, but we've got a lot more ahead of us in Georgia and the Carolinas. I'll show you where it's headed next and what warnings we still have up in just a moment. But first, I want to bring you up to speed on the latest headlines from Hurricane Michael overall right now. Michael, the third most intense landfalling U.S. storm on record, with the central pressure dropping lower than both Katrina and Andrew. Katrina was 920, and this one 919. The damage toll from both the wind and the surge expected to be catastrophic. So far, nearly 300,000 customers without power, with that number expected to rise significantly in the coming hours, and not just in Florida, but in Georgia and perhaps the Carolinas. Florida's Governor Rick Scott is asking the White House to declare a major disaster for the state of Florida, and the president is scheduled to tour the damage next week. Florida prepared with more than 1.5 million ready-to-eat meals and 1 million gallons of water ready to distribute as the recovery process gets underway. Of course, there are a lot of people still dealing with the hurricane itself. The center of the hurricane now moving into southwestern Georgia. It's centered over Seminole County. And if you live in Seminole County, Georgia, you do not want to venture outside as the eye passes over. The southern half of this is going to come roaring into your area momentarily. The hourly update from the Hurricane Center sets the winds maximum at 115 miles per hour. So for the time being, still a Category 3 hurricane. I imagine in the next hour it'll be a Category 2. Pressure up to 940, but of course it was below 920 at landfall. Moving north-northeast at 13 miles per hour. And looking on the radar, we have a number of warnings up. These green areas are flash flood warnings, and this purple one is an extreme wind warning that remains in effect for another 20 minutes or so till 6:30 p.m. Eastern time for portions of early Miller and Seminole counties. Includes Colquitt, includes Donaldsonville, includes Mayhaw. These are areas where you need to be sheltering as if it was a tornado, because the winds can be just as strong, just as damaging, and if you're not taking proper shelter, could be just as deadly. So lowest level, most interior room, and stay in there until this warning has expired, because again, once this eye passes by, you're going to get the south end of it, and it's not going to be a whole lot better there. Then this flash flood warning in effect for the same area, so don't, obviously you're not going to be getting out in your car and driving on the roads, right? This flash flood warning in effect till 8:45 p.m. Eastern time, and then along with all the wind damage and debris on I-10, we've got the heavy rainfall flash flood warning in this very large area of the Central Florida Panhandle till 8:45 p.m. Central time. And the waters are still high along the coast. At the Apalachicola gauge, it's still more than 4.5 feet above normally dry ground at the coast. That's still life-threatening, so you do not need to be getting out on the roads. Still a storm surge warning in effect there, still over 3 feet above normally dry ground at Cedar Key. As the system's center moves over southern Georgia, it will weaken to a tropical storm overnight into early tomorrow morning. Then we'll have a tropical storm going through the Carolinas, be non-tropical after that. But this is going to be a problem for Georgia and the Carolinas. Hurricane warning into much of south central Georgia, and look at all those tropical storm warnings into the Carolinas. Here are where all those power outages are, greatest in Bay County and Leon County in Tallahassee, but they're expanding into Georgia and southeastern Alabama, and we expect widespread power outages, even possible into upstate South Carolina. So Jen, you're in one of those places where the power is out for many, and it's amazing how dangerous and sometimes deadly power outages can be. So no generators indoors, stay away from lighting candles, all those things to stay safe.
Yeah, that's a good point to make, Dr. Knapp here, and I haven't talked about that in a while, which is, with these power outages, they were in the forecast, right? We knew this was going to be a problem in this area based on the tree canopy. I talked to the mayor earlier today, and he urged people that if you need power to sustain your life, you need to make sure you're either in a shelter or you're in another facility that will be able to maintain power with a generator, because it could be a day, it could be more than a day before power gets restored. We're up to now 62,000 power outages in the area, so the number is climbing with these gusty winds that we've still been seeing. Dr. Knapp, we know that winds have to go below some threshold before the power crews can get back out. At least dropping, I think, below 40 miles per hour for most power crews. When do you think we'll drop below that here in Tallahassee and down, along the coast, where in Panama City and up towards the Mariana area, where they're, dealing with a lot of wind damage as well? People want to know when they can start to even think about getting power back on.
it's going to be many hours before the winds drop back below tropical storm force. And, that shot that you see on the left side of your screen, everyone, that's in Tallahassee, Florida. This is the Love Building. I went to school in that very building. And on the left side there, you see the newer part of the building, which is where the National Weather Service office has been. And, that is indicative of an area that is going to continue to receive strong winds, and you can't tell so much from this shot, but there are just so many trees. Jen's shot shows it very well. There's so many trees in the Tallahassee area and throughout the Florida Panhandle and into southern Georgia. And Jen, trees and power lines don't get along real well, and then trees could come down onto structures, onto cars. We saw people lose their lives that way with trees coming down in Florence.
Yeah, I know. And Dr. Knapp, that's still a concern because it happens after the storm, right? You think things are improving, but debris coming down is going to continue to be a problem. Well, let's go back down to the coast into Apalachicola with Mike Bettis and find out more. And Mike, I'm actually not able to see your shot, but your description has been very good. And I can just imagine how murky it is with the floodwaters and how quickly are things receding there.
They've actually receded quite a bit, Jen, and that's, I think, a real positive. We showed the debris line, which is a solid now, I'd say, 150 feet from where the water's edge is. So we've had a horizontal recession here of about 150 feet, which is great. What I put that at about, we've probably receded about a solid 3 feet vertically or so, if not more than that, right? But it's just murky now. Everything that's left behind, because that flood water picks up everything, right? That surge water picks up everything and pushes it on land, and so you just see all kinds of nasty stuff out here, and this is just soupy, ugly, nasty, muddy, and it goes on for quite a while here. And basically now we're connecting the water out to Apalachicola River and Apalachicola Bay, which goes right out into the Gulf of Mexico. So there's a mass expanse here of water that still remains. The great news out of all this is that the weather's improved rather dramatically and rather quickly, okay? Where it was just a few hours ago, we had wind gusts around 90 miles an hour, and now we're down to just a light breeze, and there's no rain at all right now. I could take my jacket off if I wanted to. I don't think we're going to get much more rain for the remainder of the evening either. But keep in mind this, and we've seen a lot of folks that have been out and about here. As soon as the weather got a little bit better, the first thing people want to do was come out and look around. There's going to be a curfew in effect, okay? It's a dusk to dawn curfew in Franklin County. That will include Apalachicola, so as soon as the sun goes down, you need to be at home or you subject yourself to arrest. They'll be doing patrols throughout the area and throughout Franklin County. The other thing is US 98, that's behind us here. The bridge is in great shape. The bridge is perfectly fine. It's meant to withstand high winds, and it's in good shape. But once you get over the bridge and you get over towards, say, East Point or Carabel, those areas where it's a causeway and it comes down low and it just barely sits above the water. Waters come over there. At times, the big boulders are now onto the roadway as well, so you won't be able to get across there as they begin the cleanup work there. Hope you folks can stick around a lot longer. We've got much more Michael coverage. Still a Category 3 hurricane moving through Florida.
Jardiance asked, and now you know. Jardiance is the only type 2 diabetes pill proven to both reduce the risk of cardiovascular death for adults who have type 2 diabetes and heart disease and lower A1C with diet and exercise.
Jardiance can cause serious side effects, including dehydration. This may cause you to feel dizzy, faint, or lightheaded, or weak upon standing. Ketoacidosis is a serious side effect that may be fatal. Symptoms include nausea, vomiting, stomach pain, tiredness, and trouble breathing. Stop taking Jardiance and call your doctor right away if you have symptoms of ketoacidosis or an allergic reaction. Symptoms of an allergic reaction include rash, swelling, and difficulty breathing or swallowing. Do not take Jardiance if you are on dialysis or have severe kidney problems. Other side effects are sudden kidney problems, genital yeast infections, increased bad cholesterol, and urinary tract infections, which may be serious. Taking Jardiance with a sulfonylurea or insulin may cause low blood sugar. Tell your doctor about all the medicines you take and if you have any medical conditions.
Isn't it time to rethink your type 2 diabetes medication? Ask your doctor about Jardiance and get to the heart of what matters.
Today, back pain can't win. Now introducing Aleve Back and Muscle Pain. Only Aleve targets tough pain for up to 12 hours with just one pill. Aleve Back and Muscle. All day strong, all day long.
You never forget your first race. And you never back down from the next. You're the brotherhood of muscle.
These books are not bestsellers, but each tells a financial story, and one is about you. Bankers and lenders are reading and judging it, whether good or not so good. Shouldn't you read it too? Now, for the first time, you can, free. See how your story is being told with your free Experian Financial Profile. Only at Experian.com/profile.
If your mouth is made to amaze, let Philips Sonicare give its care a raise. If your teeth chew beyond their limit, then they've earned 62,000 movements a minute. If your mouth's used to a manual clean, treat it to microbubbles that feel great in between. If your amazing mouth does more than its share, give it Philips Sonicare. Next level clean, next level care.
Have you written a book? You think it's pretty good. But what's next? Newman Springs Publishing is America's premier independent publishing house. We help publish your book and get it into bookstores everywhere. Call Newman Springs Publishing.
1-800-753-8559.
Do I, Poseidon, king of the ocean, eat fish sticks? Is water wet? I only trust Gordon's, made with wild-caught Alaskan pollock. And wild is Poseidon's middle name. Just kidding, it's actually Brian. Trust the Gortons, fisherman!
I'm Daniel Hammer, driver number 21 Chevrolet for Richard Childress Racing in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Xfinity is putting fans in the driver's seat all season long with race highlights, exclusive behind-the-scenes NASCAR features, and more available anytime with Xfinity On Demand. Just say, "Show me NASCAR" into your X1 voice remote to get started.
NASCAR on Xfinity On Demand is sponsored locally by Roger Dean Chevrolet. Proud to support Daniel Hemrick and all Chevrolet drivers.
Please, help us stop the killing today.
Every season, every storm, every time you watch, trust in the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 85 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, some clouds, low 78. Winds south at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Thursday, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. High 89. Chance of rain 80%. Thursday night, late night thunderstorms. Low 76. Chance of rain 40%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
And welcome back to our continuing coverage of Hurricane Michael as it moves as a Category 3 hurricane, a major